Dan Patrick joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show. Dan, has there ever been a ticket that you had in your hot, sweaty hands and you thought, it's the moment of watching this game or I'm going to pocket a lot of cash?
Oh, probably quite a few of them. But, you always weigh that's a lot of money for a Super Bowl ticket, and then you go to the Super Bowl and go, thank God I didn't sell the ticket.
Because of the experience, and you're just so happy to be there, but then it's like, so there's the devil on your shoulder and the angel. You're like, I get to live in the moment, and then the devil's like, but I'm going to buy myself a new TV, right? I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, but there's always something you take away from those games, or somebody you met. There's an experience there that you wouldn't get if you would have sold the ticket. And I go back to, I've left games when I wasn't covering them before, and I've missed out on a couple of things. I remember, let's see, the last time, I went to, this was Boise State and Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl with the incredible trick plays at the very end. And Boise State came back and beat Oklahoma. I left before the incredible finish there. And when I got back to my hotel, went to the bar, and the bartender goes, unbelievable finish, huh? And I go, I thought he was talking about like something on the bar, or maybe, like the shellac on the bar. Unbelievable finish. Yeah, it looks beautiful. It was, no, unbelievable finish. Which one? Well, Boise State beat Oklahoma. I go, no, they didn't. Yeah, they did. And that's where I left early. But being there just to watch that, even the first 3.5 quarters, I'm still glad that I went, even though I missed the very end of it. But I have people who will get tickets from me who might sell them, but I have never I fight the urge because I always think there's something that you're going to have an experience that you never would have thought you would have gotten.
Now, this is a terrible non sequitur, but I'm going to go with it. That bottle of tequila that you got this morning from Jordan and Co. It's really pretty, that 5-sided bottle of tequila. If you want to send it to me, I would like to have it. That is a great looking bottle of tequila. I'm saying this hoping that somebody will notice this and send one because I love tequila. How'd I do?
Not very well, because I think the first person you ask is your husband and say, you know what, Rich, I would like a bottle of Cincoro, the very expensive bottle that Dan Patrick had on his show.
The 5-sided bottle of tequila, by the way.
Because there's 5 owners, NBA owners, who bought into the company, and it's 5-sided bottle of Cincoro tequila, a $350 bottle. See, I wonder what that would be if you went into the club. Ooh. What would that, like how many thousands of dollars would they mark that up if you went in and said, I'm going to take that special bottle of Cincoro, the Michael Jordan tequila. I'm going to guess a couple of grand for something like that.
And if you were such a baller to say, I'll have a Cincoro on the rocks, please, with a lime, would that cost $100, do you think?
Out of that tequila bottle?
For a glass.
I'm going to, you know what? There's a bourbon. It's called Pappy Van Winkle. And it's not expensive to buy, but you can't just buy it. You have to get it on the secondary market. It's very limited, but it's highly sought after. I've gone into a bar, and Pappy has been a shot of Pappy Van Winkle for $75. I'm going to guess that tequila that Jordan has would probably be a $75 glass of tequila.
Yeah, Dan, bottle of Pappy Van Winkle is like $1,200 online.
Yeah. Well, there's other ones that are more than that.
Yeah, there's a $5,000 one also.
and I've had it, and it's nice bourbon, and I had a bottle of it, and I thought, I'll break it out for something special, and I had a Christmas party, and I somehow left it out where somebody saw it and said, "Oh, you got Pappy? We should do some shots." And I go, okay. So I opened it up. And then I said to some people who were sitting at the bar, they didn't know what it was. I said, hey, you guys want a drink of this? It's bourbon. No. I said, are you sure? Nah, we don't want any. I said, well, this glass right here is probably a $75 glass in a bar. Everybody then wanted to taste the bourbon. Nobody wanted it until they knew how much it was. And then, of course, they're like, oh, my gosh, this is the best bourbon I've ever had. They wouldn't have known it unless I told them what it was. So a lot of times it's I want what I can't have, and that's a classic example.
I think two obvious follow-up questions, Dan Patrick. The first would be, who comes up with a name like Pappy Von Winkle, right? That's got to be the first question. Second question is, did you just enjoy saying, would you like a glass of Pappy Von Winkle?
Well, let me start with Pappy Van Winkle.
Okay.
I don't know about Vaughn, but Van, Pappy. Now, Pappy Von Winkle, that's very cheap. You can buy that. Doesn't cost you that much.
Not
Pappy
on the secondary
Van
market. Nope.
Yeah, that's
a like Bevmo.
Yeah. Let's see, where were we? So did I feel good saying Pappy Van Winkle, would you like a shot? Yeah, I felt like a baller a little bit there.
Right.
And what was the other question?
The other question was, did you just basically stand at the bar leaning on it with a monogrammed ice cube saying, would you like a glass of Pappy Van Winkle? By the way, I want to know, like, is there a monogrammed ice cube involved? And then number two.
No. It was just I poured a little shot for everybody. You sipped it. I said, don't shoot it. We're not doing shots. You just sip bourbon. And I have it where I just have it plain. I don't have it on ice. I have it neat, occasionally. But, there's a whole subculture that has to do, it's like smoking cigars, how you flick your ashes on a cigar. You don't, hit it too hard on the side of the ashtray because then you might crack the cigar that you have. Like all these things that you never would have thought that you needed to know, but you need to know.
Dan, we have breaking news here on the Rich Eisen Show. We don't have your expensive drop, which is kind of depressing now that I realize it, because I'm expecting to hear your breaking news drop. But Ndamukong Suh signs with the Eagles. What are your thoughts on that right away?
Who signed with the Eagles?
Ndamukong Suh signed with the Eagles. How about that?
Yeah. Well, they probably need help with stopping the run, and maybe considering they've got good running backs coming up the next 4 games they're going to face. I don't know when he can be available, but that's probably – I thought they had plenty of depth on the defensive line, but watching them against Washington, knowing they got Jonathan Taylor coming up, you got the Packers game coming up. They got 2 good running backs. Derrick Henry is also coming up. They're going to have to stop the run because now people feel like now we know how to beat the Eagles. You run the football, control the clock.
Dan Patrick joins us here on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line. Suzy Shuster in for Rich Eisen. Let's go back to nonsense talk because it's a lot more fun. Would you spend a day waiting to buy tickets to a concert the way people do with T Swift? Because Taylor Swift broke the internet the other day. People waited all day to try to buy tickets to Taylor Swift. Would you ever spend a day wasting time to get tickets to a concert? And if so, who would it have been, alive or dead?
Would I do it now? No. But if back in the day, if you said Led Zeppelin somehow was coming back, or the Beatles coming back, or Hendrix coming back, Elvis, then yeah, I would. I remember waiting in line when it was general seating to get into these shows, and you waited in a line that felt like it was a mile long, and it was general admission basically. But the handling charge is what I don't understand. When somebody says, "Hey, the ticket's going to cost you this, but the total is going to be this," and you go, well, "Wait a minute, how much does it cost to just process a ticket?" And that's where I think it's, Springsteen's talked about this too, where you try to make them affordable, but then it feels like those that are handling the tickets jack it up and put it in a stratosphere that's just not fair. And imagine all the younger girls who want to go see Taylor Swift. All right, where are you going to get that money unless mom and dad are the ones that are ponying that up? But that gets to be disheartening, the handling charges. I'd love to see how they would explain, like Ticketmaster. Well, here's the handling charges.
Handling charges?
Let me understand.
It's a computer.
Exactly.
$300, Dan. $300 for 4 tickets.
Expensive.
Yeah, Dan.
How much?
The service charges were $300 for 4 tickets.
Yeah, see that's embarrassing. Embarrassing. And if you're looking at the people go to these concerts, mostly are younger people, and you're price gouging them. It's just that's unfair. But if you get the artist to speak up, I know that we saw this many, many years ago, Eddie Vedder and company. But, I think it probably impacted their tour, but they wanted to take on, I don't know if it was Ticketmaster or not, but this is wrong. This is wrong to do this.
Dan Patrick here on the Rich Eisen Show. Suzy Shuster in for Rich Eisen. Dan, I was listening to you on the way down, and I was concerned that you were throwing Sue under the bus on the pickleball conversation. And I thought of this because Stephen Colbert will be up in a taped interview coming up that Rich had taped yesterday. And I'm wondering what kind of pickleball player you are, Dan, because you basically kind of sold Sue down the river on that one, saying that she didn't want to win. And I know your wife; she's Italian, she's feisty. There's a fire in there, and I'm just wondering if you could give us a little bit more insight into that match against those 2 aggressive women from outer Greenwich.
Well, we were at a spa, and they had all these different things. It's one of those healthy spiritual retreats that my wife wanted to go on, where it's all vegan and all these things that are healthy and healthy state of mind and all of those things. My Zen, I'm listening to my inner voice, all of the things. I'm relaxed, and my wife goes, hey, I'd like to try pickleball. Never played pickleball. Go out on the tennis court. They got it all set up. And then, you're kind of pairing off with 2 other people on the other side. Well, we don't even know the rules. We don't know anything about it. And then there was an instructor, and then we started playing. Well, the 2 women on the other side, they'd played. They were really good. And I thought that they were a little too competitive. And so I said to my wife, who's not competitive that way, I said, hon, I got to take matters into my own hands here. The family legacy is at stake. And she goes, no, don't be that person. I go, no, hon, they need to be taught a lesson. And I did. I taught them a lesson. Those women from Greenwich, Connecticut, I taught them a lesson, and hopefully they'll learn from it.
Were you the kind of dad that you wouldn't let your kids win?
Yeah, I'm still that kind of dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
You realize one time I said to my kids, and they were probably ages 7 through 14, and there's 4 of them. And I said, if nobody can beat me in a foot race, no Christmas gifts. And my wife's watching this, and she goes, don't do this. I go, no, it'll be funny. And so I beat them in a race. They all 4 fall down crying because they don't think there's any Christmas. And then I said, no, there is. I'm joking. Oh, my God. I was the worst dad on the block. Chutes and ladders. If I played chutes and ladders, I'd be competitive. And my wife would just say, yeah, you can let them win. I go, no, I can't. Even now, I have a problem with just letting you win, because I grew up in a family that they didn't let you win. So I gotta stop one day and just go, come on, you're a grown ass man. What are you doing?
No, you don't.
You don't have to stop, Dan.
No, you don't. We live in a bunch of softies out here. No, you don't.
You don't have to stop.
No, I know. Well, the women in Greenwich, they deserve to be taught a lesson.
Wait, were you talking trash to the women, or you were just giving looks?
No, there were too many people, and my wife would never allow that to happen. But okay. I sent some things back with a little bit more urgency when we were playing pickleball. Just, I had to let them know that, there's a new lifeguard here at the pool, and it's me.
So you shot you shot a shot to the ankles. Is that what happened? You were hoping she'd throw her back out when she went down for it?
No, just looking for winners. Yeah. That's all I was trying to do.
A little more
put
mustard.
A little heat on it. Yeah. That was it. And because they were firing at my wife, the backhand, and she didn't know how to play. We just picked up the thing. And I thought, all right, hon, I'm going to take care of most of these shots. When they were coming, I was the guy who was dominating the whole side of the court in pickleball. Sad, but still, it was an athletic achievement at my age and having an artificial knee.
Well, that is true. Every so often when Cooper Eisen gets a little too testy on the tennis court, I'll zing it right at him. And then I'll give him a fist bump, like right in his face, like, yeah, like a Tom Brady, let's go. Mom. I'm like, you want that ball? You got to be on that wall. I have some issues, Dan. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but I've only known you for 30 years, but yeah, I'm gonna work on it when Rich comes back. Maybe I'll go to a spa in Greenwich.
Yeah. Still hope.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Anything else?
Let's do this again. Next time Rich is out, you just let me know. I'll be here.
All right. So 10:02 tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're in the chair for a while.
I'm in the chair for the next couple days. I'm in the chair, and then Dan, we're going. Xander and Dan and Rich were supposed to go to Lizzo on Friday night, so I said I would take him. He's like, no thanks, Mom. He chose his dance teacher. He said, I don't know anything about Lizzo.
Wow.
Whatever. I'm about that something or other, right?
It's about damn time.
I'd love to go see Lizzo. I'd love to go see Lizzo. I'd love to go see Taylor Swift. I'd love to go see Harry Styles.
Oh, I'm going to Harry Styles.
Whoa.
Back off.
He's a little too aggressive there. Wow.
I am going to that one. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, not sorry.
All right.
Olivia Wilde
Fair
hosting
enough.
the show today.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I was nodding off for a minute. Wait, Harry Styles? Well, I'll go to that one.
Yeah.
We're going to SCUCLA on Saturday night. It's a big weekend out here in the Eisen household, and Rich will be he'll be playing shotgun from with the TV clicker, I think.
Good.
So a couple days off. He needs to sleep off the jet lag.
Titans, Packers, Dan, who you got real quick?
It feels weird. It's like the Titans, just because it feels weird. I don't know. There's a couple, like the Giants are favored by 1.5 over the Lions at home. That's just
why is
weird.
Green Bay favored tonight?
Probably based off of the game against the Cowboys, but then the Cowboys are favored against the Vikings in Minnesota after their win against Buffalo. It's just weird, and it feels like Tennessee has been under the radar. These shows focus on the Packers and the Cowboys. That's basically it, and therefore nobody has an opinion on anybody else in the NFL. It's like the Lakers in the NBA. Nobody focuses on anybody else. It's like, it's the Lakers. Well, they're not any good. So what? They'll get clicks. And I think Tennessee has always been one of those teams that, there's not much excitement there. They're just a great football coach, and they somehow, win games. But I would go with Tennessee just because it feels weird.
Dan, thank you. Appreciate you calling in.
Sometime in a while.
In a long while. And if you decide you don't want that tequila, you know where I live. It's
I know
just us.
That's where your husband, being a baller, should be able to go, hey, honey, I've got your tequila. I'll get it for you because I love you. That's what he should say if he really cared about you.
Well, that's up for debate, isn't it, though? It's 25 years later, that's up for debate.
Have a great day.
Love to sue. Bye, Dan.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.